This is a simplified explanation of the European Working Time Directive 6-hour rule for professional mobile workers, that's truck drivers and bus drivers. So if you know the 6-hour rule, you don't need to watch this video. If you're not sure about the 6-hour rule, you need to watch this video to the end. My name's Leon Clifton. The European Working Time Directive states that a professional mobile worker, truck driver or bus driver, working 6 hours must take a 15-minute break. You can't take your break at the beginning or the end of a shift, so if you're only working for 6 hours, you need to take that 15 minutes in the middle somewhere. You can work for 3 hours, take a 15-minute break, then work for 2 hours, 45 minutes. That's your 6-hour shift done, go home. The European Working Time Directive states that a professional mobile worker, bus driver, truck driver, working more than 6 hours must take a 30-minute break. That break can be split into two 15-minute modules if you like. Now, because you're working more than 6 hours, you can work 6 hours and take 15 minutes either during the 6 hours or at the end of that 6 hours, because the end of that 6 hours is no longer your end of your shift. So if you're only working 6 hours, you must take 15 minutes within the 6 hours. But if you're working more than 6 hours, you can take the 15 minutes during the 6 hours or at the 6-hour mark. Here's an example. If you were working a 9-hour shift, you could work for 2 hours, take a 15-minute break. Work for 2 hours, take a 15-minute break. Work for 2.5 hours, and that's your 9-hour shift done. Here's another example. You could work for 4 hours, take a 30-minute break, work for 4.5 hours, and go home. That's your 9-hour shift done. So the breaks can be split into 15-minute modules. If you're working 6 hours, you must take 15 minutes. If you're working more than 6 hours, you must take 30 minutes. If you're working more than 9 hours, you must take 45 minutes. Here's an example of a 12-hour shift. You could work 6 hours, take a 45-minute break, work 5 hours and 15 minutes, and go home. That's a 12-hour shift. You've taken all 45 minutes in one go, but you haven't exceeded the 6-hour working limit, so you're fine. Here's another example of a 12-hour shift. You could work 4 hours, take a 30-minute break, then work another 4 hours and take a 15-minute break. You haven't exceeded your 6 hours and you've taken your 45 minutes, which you have to take. Now you can work for 3 hours and 15 minutes and go home. That's your 12-hour shift. Here's an example of a 15-hour shift. You could work 6 hours, but then if you took 45 minutes to complete your 15-hour shift, you'd have to work 7 hours and 45 minutes. Here's an example of a 15-hour shift. You could work 6 hours, take a 30-minute break, work another 6 hours, take a 15-minute break, and then work for 2 hours and 15 minutes, go home. In total, that's a 15-hour shift. You haven't exceeded the 6-hour rule, and you've taken your full 45 minutes. Now, you can't work more than a 15-hour shift, of course, because 15 away from 24 hours leaves 9 hours, and 9 hours is your minimum rest period, your minimum daily rest period. So to go back over what we just discussed, if you're a professional mobile worker and you're working for 6 hours, you must take a 15-minute break during that 6 hours because you can't take the break before or after your shift. If you're working for more than 6 hours, you must take a 30-minute break. If you're working for more than 9 hours, you must take a 45-minute break. If you found any information in this video helpful, please like, please subscribe. Until next time, my name's Leon Clifton. Drive safe, eyes on the road. Most people who watch these videos like and subscribe. I'd like to say thank you.